What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Christian Kuntz Podcast. I'm here with my boys Vinny and Trey. Today we have a very special guest, gunslinger himself, Mr. Kyle freaking Allen. Woo!
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. Kyle, I got to ask you, Desert Mountain High School, you were one of the top quarterbacks coming out.
Are you starting?
Yeah. We're rolling. I need to
just act normal.
I am.
You get all serious on me.
Because I am. I need to know this. What was it like being like the top quarterback in the country coming out?
He was so
excited. I read that. I'm like, dude, this guy is him. You were him.
I was him.
You were him.
And then I wasn't him.
Why? What happened?
And then I went undrafted.
Yeah, but your story to get there is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Top-rated quarterback, 8,000 yards in high school. Mark Andrews, is that your boy?
That's my guy.
Were you
my
guys
ex-receiver. He was 6'5", 240 at ex-receiver.
What?
In high school.
Did you guys win a
Really?
state championship?
No, we were terrible.
Really?
We weren't terrible. My freshman year, we played freshman ball, and our varsity team went 0-10. Head coach stays. I like the head coach. He was good. And then the next year, sophomore year, we went like 5-5, but me and Mark went off. But the thing in Arizona is like, we had like a lot of good top players in Arizona. Like we had a lot of guys go to colleges, but the drop off was huge. It was
Terrible.
It was like you got the top guys, and then your left guard's like 185.
Damn.
Or your right tackle's like
Yeah.
I was as big as our right tackle. So it was basically like feed Mark. If you look at my highlights, like some of them, I'm just throwing it up to him like quadruple coverage. But he was coming down with it.
He's coming down with him.
Yeah, he was nasty.
Who else do you have? Anybody else that went on to play college ball at least?
No, we had Tom Morello, who was 5'6", like 160 as my slot. Alec Waltman was baseball player outside. Cody Erickson, baseball player inside. That was really it. It was just me and Mark.
Talk about baseball players. Kickler smiling. This big dude's smiling. He's
It's
20
not a
years
baseball
old.
guy.
Dude, we bring it up every time. Every time someone brings up baseball, this guy's in the Whiffle Ball Hall of Fame.
That's sick, though.
Dude, he has a
That is
Wiffle Ball highlight tape. He plays on Duquesne's Field. He has a highlight tape.
Can you
99K.
send it to me after?
Yeah.
He's so excited. He just made his day.
I grew up playing wiffle ball. That's like all we did in our backyard.
And he claims he's retired now. He's
Do you think
20
he could
years
hit?
old.
Did you go on the wiffle ball Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think
Sorry,
you'd get
Okay, I
it?
was kidding, but they got awards over there. It's fair.
Do you think he would get a hit off you in wiffle ball?
What
Dude.
kind of balls are we throwing? You like just traditional? What was your pitch? Okay, you're getting fucking smoked. He's getting smoked. I'm going yard.
He said straight heat.
I'm taking him yard. All right, so we got you in high school. You and Mark Andrews ate it up in high school. You were a top pick. Talk to me about the Army All-American game, because like I've obviously never sniffed the Army All-American game.
I'm sure they had one over here in Pittsburgh somewhere, like the local All-American game.
First of all, we do a Ohio versus PA game.
Yeah.
That's basically like an Army All-American game, because PA and
33.
Ohio football are like top tier.
It's
Was it
Maryland
sweet?
now.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's Maryland now. It's the Big 33.
Dude,
How'd you play? Did you
I
play
didn't
good?
I didn't play in that.
Dude,
I
you were
barely-
hyping it up like it was
Well,
like
because I
a
watched
core
the game.
memory. Yeah.
I watched the game, but I barely play. I barely played in high school. I got hurt a lot. I didn't play, so
It's fair, man.
I would always watch the Army All-American game. Guys like you come out there. Did you commit on the spot?
I committed early. I committed to A&M early, but my dad was super into it. He was like, we would fly around the country. We'd go to a bunch of camps. We went on a bunch of visits together. I remember him, me, and my brother. We went to A&M on a visit together, and we went to that game. We were like, I grew up Pac-12, so I grew up watching like ASU and
Wow.
like Reggie Bush playing at USC, and like all I knew was Pac-12. And then I started getting recruited nationally, and I started going to these SEC games. And I was like, this is completely, a completely different world. And I was like, dang, this is incredible.
Yeah.
And so I was like, on the spot,
Like
I was
just
like,
the
yeah.
atmosphere, or like the
Yeah,
the
it's just, I
talent?
mean, it just like, it meant more down there, you know? It's like Pac-12, like West Coast football. You're always playing super late at night. Back then, the Pac-12 was big, but as I grew older and when I was getting recruited, the Pac-12 wasn't as big, and SEC was like really on the come up. And I was like, I want to try and play some real football. And so I committed early to A&M. So I didn't commit there, but Army All-American game was sick. We had a McCaffrey was on my team,
Sheesh.
and no one knew about him back then, really, because we had Joe Mixon too. So Joe Mixon was our running back. He ran for like 200 yards. He went crazy, and then McCaffrey was playing punt returner. And I remember I didn't know. We were just hanging out because we were boys. And then he went on to Stanford and just set every single record there. And then I ended up playing with him at Carolina too. But he was like kind of an unknown thing back then.
And he just
That's
killed
actually
people.
crazy.
He just killed people. But he wasn't playing running back really. He was playing punt returner in that game.
His brother's a receiver in the league.
Commanders. Washington.
Does he play?
Yeah.
Not that matters. If he's on the fucking team, it's big deal.
No, he's made some catches. Yeah, he's been playing.
I mean, their offense is crazy right now.
Oh, it's going crazy.
They have one punt in 3 weeks.
Really?
Do you like that? Do you like not having to run down there?
Yeah, I mean that'd be great if we had no punt. Like no punting is.
Got to keep you fresh though.
Yeah, got to keep these legs fresh.
Got to get you on the Monday morning highlight tape too.
No, it's good when you're not brought up. For me, at least, not brought up on Monday. Like nothing said.
Yeah,
it's good to go.
yeah.
When you get brought up, it's not good.
I got a question.
What you got?
Is it true? Because I heard this about SEC football. Do people get dressed up like the whole way dressed up for the games? Like I heard guys do like the button up collars, and then the women do like the sundresses. Is that real?
Oh, you're talking about like fans?
Yeah.
It just depends where you're at. You know, like the South was like big, like frat boy, like, you know, you're wearing the collared shirts. And
You love that.
girls, I ate it up. So good. I wish I wore that fit. Oh, I kind of got it underneath. I got my golf fit on today.
All right.
Hold on. Subtle flex with the mouse.
Wow.
Subtle flex.
Okay.
Subtle flex.
He's a part of that frat. PGA right there.
Yeah. But, I mean, it was just like, it was religion down there, you know.
Right.
In College Station, there was 90,000 people, and the stadium held 110. And it was packed every week. So people were coming from all over. They were driving, and you go to any stadium, you know, we played at Auburn, we played at Alabama, we played at Ole Miss. It's packed, and it's loud. I mean, people look forward to it all week. I remember when they were selling tickets for the game at A&M, kids would sit out at on Tuesday and camp overnight for tickets on Wednesday.
That's
and they
crazy.
left the student tickets out there. You know, it's just like, you see when they do college game day down there, it's just
Bonkers.
different. Yeah, it's amazing.
Who was the coach at A&M when you were there?
Someone.
Okay. He wasn't there that long, was he?
He was there for a while. He was there like 5 or 6 years.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like when I was reading up on your stuff, I was shocked that you went from A&M to Houston and then you went undrafted. Like your story's kind of crazy. I thought you were no joke, I thought you were an early draft pick to Carolina, and then like
Respect on my game right there.
Yeah, and I remember you from the Carolina days eating at Carolina.
Yeah, it was. So when I was at A&M, I played some my freshman year, and then Kyler Murray came in that next year at A&M, and he was young and he didn't graduate early. So I started at the beginning of the year, and then we struggled a little bit in the middle of the year. He played a little bit. He wasn't really ready yet, and so I went back in, and then he went back in, and they just didn't handle it super well, and so we ended up both transferring. And I had like old Ohio State ties, and so Tom Herman was at Ohio State as the OC. He went to UH to be the head coach. And so when I transferred, I ended up transferring there. And then he ended up taking the Texas job the next year. So new head coach there. And that's where like the transfer stuff is just, it's tough because back then I didn't, you still had to sit out a year.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
So I had to sit out a year. And then Herman was gone, new head coach. Things didn't work out. I didn't play great there. I only ended up playing a couple games there. And then I had another year of eligibility, but I was like, what am I going to do? I'm just transfer another year, go to another school, like go through all that. Like, I don't know, like you had to like go get cut by a bunch of teams. Like, you know how hard it is to be on different teams.
Yeah, it
and
sucks.
It's the worst. So I'm like, I don't know, like I'm just going to try. Like I knew I wasn't going to get drafted, and I was like, I'm just going to try and make a team. And then like, if it works, it works. If not, I'm going to move on with my life, you know?
Oh shit, it's working.
Somehow.
It worked.
It is working.
What would you do if it didn't work? What was
Yeah.
your backup plan? Did you not have one? Is that the answer that
No.
you had to give?
No, I feel like I'm a smart enough dude. I figure it out. I don't know.
You would have figured
You
it
majored
out.
in retail consumer science.
This is good research right
Yeah.
here,
What is-
man.
What is that?
What is retail?
They said that's the quickest way I could get a marketing degree. Yeah, when I was at UH, well, so you know when you go to college, it's like when I was at A&M, they were putting me in all these classes that are like get me credits.
Right.
And so it was like, you know, it was like football management, or like all this stuff. And then when I went to transfer, they were like, yeah, like half these credits don't transfer here. Like They're like, I don't know what classes you were taking over there, but they didn't mean anything. I was like, oh, all right. And so the year I sat out, I ended up taking 58 credits that year. So I did like, I don't know if or it was like 51 or something, but I did 6 classes in the spring, 5 classes over the summer, 6 classes in the fall.
Oh, boy.
Damn, boy.
And I did it all, like, that's when you do it online. So I was just like cranking online classes, you know. You know, it comes with the online classes, but I had to catch up heavy, dude. I had to catch up so heavy. And then, so yeah, that was like, I was like, I want to graduate in 2 years. I don't want to, like, after my 4th year, not have a degree. So I was like, retail consumer science right there. Dude. That degree has come in handy, dude.
That degree's come in handy for sure.
What kind of job do you get with that type of shit?
Well, he said like marketing.
NFL job? I don't know.
Football, being a quarterback.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Football.
I feel like college nowadays, too, is like, I mean, some specialized degrees, yes, but like it's more about who you know once you get out.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So you also have a podcast, correct?
I did for a while. We're not doing it right now, but yeah, the QB room.
Listen, I've been watching some of your stuff, trying to get some information on you. You've had a couple different guests on, some pretty high-level guests, right?
You like
looking
it?
at the paper right
Did
now.
you like it?
I like it.
I can't read that far. Don't worry.
I like it. But I want to know, like, what got you into that? Like, did you always know that you wanted to do this type of stuff, or was it something that just kind of sprung onto you?
I've just became friends with so many guys around the league over the years. We got a group that trains together out in California. I got Jordan Palmer trains quarterbacks for the draft every year, and I've been going to him for he did high school camps for a long time, so I've been going there for a while, and we just meet so many guys over the years. Like Deshaun Watson was my class. Jarrett Stidham was always around. It was me and Sam Darnold and Josh Allen coming out for the draft the same year. We trained for 2 months together, lived together, and you just like a lot of guys come out and hang out around there in the off season. You become friends with all these guys, and you've never been in the quarterback room, but we always say the quarterback room is like. It's like a sanctuary, you know. It's like everything. Like it's the most important room in the building by far, right? Sure. What happens in the quarterback room, like usually, that's how your team goes. And so, the quarterback room is always interesting. You always got different characters. Like I was in a room with Cam Newton my rookie year, and Cam Newton's fucking hilarious. I remember we had the Amazon Prime show that year, like the Hard Knocks in season.
Yeah.
And we had the cameras in the corner of the room, and Cam would just be talking wild in there, just like wild shit. And you would see it, like the camera would be like chilling, and then all of a sudden he'd be saying something, and the camera would be like, and point towards him. And I'm a rookie, and I'm like, I'm not trying to say anything stupid right now on here, but he didn't care. And he would just say wild stuff. So it was hilarious. And then, I'm in a room with Alex Smith in Washington. He was awesome. Playing with Russell, playing with Justin. You're just around a lot of like really cool people and really interesting people in that room. You get to know those guys more than anywhere else. Like you feel comfortable in there. And so with the show, what we want to create is like the QB room is like bring people into the quarterback room. Like we're going to talk high level football stuff. Like you've probably seen it, like breakdowns on plays, but then we're also just going to talk a bunch of shit like we normally do in the QB room.
I like long snappers can't get on the QB room.
Well, specialists come by every now and then. You got to come by the actual QB room first.
I don't mess around with the actual.
See,
QB
that's
room.
the thing. You don't want to mess around with the actual QB room.
There's too much shit getting written on the whiteboard. Like,
no, you got to come in and shoot the shit, man.
I'll come in there.
You sound scared.
I'm not scared.
You sound scared as
Look at him over in that corner by himself.
I used to go in the QB room all the time. When Coach Sully was the coach, I'd go in there and mess with Sully all the time.
You and Art and Tom would get along.
I like, Art's my guy. I like Art.
So come on by.
Your rookie year, you were P squad in Carolina first, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Cam got hurt, and then Heineke was in front of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he got hurt, and then you came in.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever expect to play your rookie year? Like, what were your family had to have been like? Holy shit, he's starting in an NFL game at quarterback. Now.
Yeah. Well, going into that camp, I was the 4th quarterback. So it was Cam, it was Garrett Gilbert, it was Heineke. And it was me, and him and Heineke and Garrett were kind of duking it out for the backup job.
Garrett Gilbert, where's he from?
Garrett Gilbert was like high recruit out of Texas. He went to SMU. He'd been around the league for a while. He was a top recruit too coming out.
Shit,
he was a good player.
Okay.
But Heineke ended up winning the backup job, and they kept me on. I didn't play in the preseason that year until week 4. That was when there was 4 games until the second half of week 4. So I'm sitting around texting my agent. I don't get any reps in camp either. It was like It's like our guy this year, JR. Yeah.
JR Prom, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, but it's just the nature of it. Like, there's not enough reps to go around. So I'm texting my agent. I'm like, hey, should I go ask for some more reps? Like, what do I do? And he was like, you're the last person they're worried about. Like, just wait around.
Yeah.
And I ended up, thank God we were down. We were playing Steelers, and we were down like 31-10 at halftime. And they were like, all right, you got the second half. We're going to go slinging around. I had like 35 attempts in the second half.
It was like a Thursday night game or something like that?
Yeah, it was something like that. And I was slinging it around, and I did well, kept me on P squad, and then 4 days later they cut me for Connor Cook. And they were like, yeah, we're going to bring this guy in. Like, he's had a little experience. We want him on P squad. So I was on a team for like 9 weeks. And then they cut Connor Cook, and they just had Cam and Heineke. Cam had a shoulder thing going on, and so he wouldn't practice. So Heineke was taking all the offensive reps, and then he would go and take the scout team reps too. And he was like, I can't do this anymore. And so they called me, and they were like, hey, come back so you can run the scout team, basically. And that was like week 10. So I was just happy to be on a team. No, like, thought I was going to play. And then Cam ends up his shoulder ends up hurting. We kind of get out of it. And then Heineke plays week 15 at that time. And he tears his tricep in the middle of the game.
Holy crap.
It was his left arm. So he goes out. Yeah. I'm the backup in like the second quarter I'm in. I'm like, oh, I never thought I was going to play. I ended up going in for like maybe 10 plays. I went 4 for 4, like threw it around, and then he came back out in this brace that was like from his wrist to his shoulder. He's like, I'm playing. Like, I'm getting back out here. And I'm like, go ahead, dude. Go
ahead, buddy.
But it was his shot. So he's like, I'm not giving it up. And I get
it.
But then next week, like, he always could play. Like, his tricep was torn off his bone. So I ended up playing that last week, and we ended up playing the Saints, who were 13-2, number 1 seed in the NFC in New Orleans.
Division game.
Yeah. Well, it didn't really matter at that time, but
still.
I was like, I mean, I don't even think I could think about it because I was just like, I need to find a way to like complete the ball a couple of times today and like move us down the field. And then we ended up like smoking them. We were up like 23-0 at halftime. Ended up like having a great game. They benched their starters at halftime because it was they were already locked up. But yeah, it was just like little opportunities. Like, that's all I always tell people is like,
right place,
like,
right time.
Well, yeah, it's like your opportunities are going to come, but you just got to be ready when they come. Like, I was ready in that preseason game. I was ready when Heineke went down that week, and then the next week, like, you just perform. Especially if you're like not a first round guy who they don't got a lot of money attached to you,
or expecting you to go.
Yeah, like if I went out there and shit the bed, like I probably wouldn't be on a team like the next year. You know.
I wonder if that has something to do with like the mindset, though. You know, like being a first round pick and expected to make the big play every time versus having that mindset of like, dude, if I complete a couple passes and keep us competitive right now, like,
yeah, that's
really all they're asking of me. So like that pressure is different. You know, I wonder like, you know, you look at some of these guys we talked about on previous episodes where they come in, you know, they get the start early in their career and like maybe they not only don't make those splash plays, but they get benched early.
Yeah.
And so, like, is it because they had this expectation in their mind where they can't just go out there and just, like, you know, make the necessary plays? They have to, like, go above and beyond, and then, I don't know.
Oh, I think it's the quarterback position in general, and we talked about this a lot on our podcast, too. It was, like, it's so much about the support around you at that position, and you look where guys get drafted. It's not really the number. It's the situation, it's the organization, it's the ownership, it's the coaching, it's
everything.
Yeah, well, I look at Sam Darnold, like the guy that I was in draft training with. Like he went to number 3 to New York, and then Josh went number 7 to Buffalo, right? So obviously Sam got the higher pick. Like at that point, you're like, oh, he's going to be the better player. He's the higher pick, right? But he goes into a situation in New York, which has been hard for a long time. Like even Mark Sanchez was there. You know, he was having success, but it's hard. And the coaching, you know, his head coach got fired after the first year. They bring in Adam Gase. Adam Gase just was like somewhat of, you know, it was tough for him in the quarterback room and the offense. And then you go to a place in Carolina with, you know, where I was there, where the new ownership comes in. You have Matt Rule come in. You have, you know, a bunch of turnover there. And then he's starting. He's not starting. He says he's going to be the starter next year. They signed Baker Mayfield. Like, it's all situation. Then you look at when Josh goes to Buffalo, right? They set it up for him, right? And obviously you have to play well, but you know the first couple of years he didn't play to the player that he is right now. But they support him, they let him develop, They keep continuity around him. You know, the head coach, the GM supports him. The offense has been the same since he's been there. And a lot of it's tough now because you got to come in and perform right away. I remember Jordan Palmer's brother, Carson Palmer, when he got drafted number 1 to Cincinnati, he didn't play the whole first year. No. And that's what a lot of guys used to do back then because you're just not ready right away. Like the college game is so much different than the NFL game. You need to sit, you need to learn to understand, but there's too much like money attached to these guys now. There's too much of like top picks having to play right away where you have to learn by fire, and it's not good for some guys. Some guys can do it, and some guys you need a little more time, a little more reps, and it's not right either way or the other, but it's just it's tough now if you're a top pick and you have to play right away.
When you say the college game's different than the NFL game, obviously like the speed, the size, everything's different, but from a coverage standpoint, from like what college DCs are running to what pro DCs are running, how does that differ? Like well,
it's also offensive scheme.
The scheme, obviously the offense scheme's different, but I'm saying like in coverage, like defensively, is it majority the same shit? Like you can only run cover 3, cover 4, man free, whatever. Like there's only so many defenses that you could truly run, but what's the difference in like that aspect from pros to college?
I think
how they disguise it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say the coverage is like monumentally different. I think the way you get better at a young age is you start like you learn tendencies, you learn pre-snap better. Like how can I understand what's going on before the ball snaps? And that takes reps. It takes a ton of reps. It takes watching a ton of film, and it helps if you're under a guy that's done it for a while and that can teach you. Like when I was in Washington with Alex Smith, like Alex Smith taught me so much about how he sees the game and what he's looking at pre-snap or what he's watching in film during the week. Like what am I looking for? Like even as simple as like how do you study a team leading up to the week, right?
Yeah, like I don't even know how do you even begin to do that? You're looking at tendencies, all tendencies, what the coach likes to do, what they like to call in certain situations.
Yeah, I mean, you usually just try and have an outline of like how you watch tape during the week, and you kind of get a feel for it. I've always just loved watching tape, so like I watch a ton of tape, but it's like on Mondays after I lift, I go and watch the next team's last 4 games, right? And you're just kind of buzzing like who they are. You're trying to get like a 30,000-foot view of what they are as a team, like structure, what are their top coverages, who's their guys, like, and then you're trying to find who gives it away. Like on the defense,
it's always somebody.
Well, yeah, it's usually like one of the safeties or the nickel, like they're giving away coverage or they're giving away this pressure. Or if he lines up here versus this formation, it's this coverage. But if it's this formation, he lines up over here, it's a different, like, there's just tendencies, And you're just over there with your head between your legs, snapping the freaking ball and running down there.
Like Billy. Hey, man.
Hey,
and you're doing a great job doing it, man. You're doing great.
Leave that guy alone.
Thanks, I appreciate that. I got hit pretty good this week, I'm not going to lie, on a field goal.
You got hit hard?
Well,
they loaded
bro, they just loaded in the A gap, and it wasn't an illegal hit. Like
you knew they were gonna do it too. That's the tough part.
But they rushed hard in the A gap, and like both dudes gave me like right when I snapped and like picked my head up, both gave me like a forearm shiver to like the neck and chest, and I literally like.
Perfect.
I'm just like.
Oh yeah, you put the legs up a little bit too. Yeah.
Everyone was giving me shit like, they're like, what the hell? Like, come on, Kuntz, like, what are you doing? Like, I'm like, was the snap good? Did the kick go in? Boom.
Yeah, you got Grover Stewart over you. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Speaking of that, so we're on. They run a defensive stay on punt, right?
Dang, that's
and like
the worst.
Killebrew lines up as the PP behind me on my right, and normally like in a defense stay look, like I always just. We'll try to snap quick or whatever and go, and I block left, and Killebrew just fills in right because he's like right behind me because he's on the right. This dude had the nerve. He saw that number 90 in there, and Killebrew's going, rip, 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 like sending me his way.
Smart.
Yeah, so Killebrew sent me his way and then didn't touch anybody at that, just ran downfield. But this dude took like 4 steps and just headbutted me.
That's a smart move by Killebrew.
In the middle of the play, I'm like, oh, come on, dude. I'm like, too much. I'm like, it's too much. Balls off. Like, why are you doing that?
It's too much.
And he was like, and like Herb was laughing mid-play because I'm like, oh.
You're smart. You're in the trenches, man.
Yeah, it's the trenches.
Yeah, so I think that's good, dude. Like the trench talk on the show is something that people I think like to hear because think of a punt. It's just like you said. It's just like you snap the ball and you just run straight. There's so many little intricacies that you probably replay in your mind a million times.
I replay like when I go back and watch film. Like I was telling you guys how when I made that half tackle. The home game against the Chargers.
You jacked that dude up.
Yeah,
dude.
I hated the film. I was like,
the stats are half tackle though.
Yeah, it's stats, but like this week, right? Another field goal. They rushed the A gap and like they did like a swim back, and I felt like my head get hit. Like someone hit me on the top of my head, and I'm like flailing back, trying to like knock guys' arms down and whatever, like do whatever I got to do. And then of course I'm bitching to the ref. I'm like, hit me in the head because bro, that's a big penalty on a snapper. If we put our offense back out there, like it's a big penalty. So I always bitch. If you get the call, you get the call. So I'm bitching. I'm like, my head, he hit me in my head. I'm screaming. And one dude's like, on the Colts, he literally was like, man, shut the hell up. All you do is snap the ball. And I was like, fuck you. And then everyone's like, all right, dude, get on the sideline. Like, get the hell out of here.
You were talking
him
though.
on the next one.
I was trying to talk a little shit, but he was like, shut the hell up. All you do is snap the ball. I'm like, all right. See you later.
We might as well make this a segment, shit talk, because you always talk shit, and everybody that comes on here talks shit to you, specifically this guy right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, we golfed this morning.
How did it go?
Who won?
We pushed. Well, he's given me, he's a pretty damn good golfer, I'm not going to lie. So he has to give me some strokes.
How many? On 9 holes.
Whoa.
4.5 aside.
Pause.
4.5 aside.
Pause.
And we
let him know.
pushed.
And we pushed. But that's golf. That's how you make golf fair.
And I'm glad you weren't there for the back nine. I blew up a little bit. It was wet.
You got scared. You had no more competition.
It was
You
wet.
gave it your all on the front nine.
Golf's a hard game.
Listen, I can't do it, so I ain't saying shit to you.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like
how long you
good?
been golfing?
He's pretty good, dude.
I've been playing since after college.
Yeah.
But we got that's all I did this summer. My wife was planning. We got married this summer, but she stayed back in California at our house and was planning the wedding. And so I was out here during OTAs, and OTAs is just Monday through Thursday. So I think 6 of the 10 weekends during OTAs I went on a golf trip.
Yeah.
This dude shot like a 76 at Augusta.
Wow.
Say that again?
Augusta.
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 Put some respect on the name. Yeah.
Augusta. Whatever. I haven't played there. But yeah, he's pretty good.
I gotta give credit where it's due, man. Well, congratulations, you're whooping his ass. Keep doing it.
No, we pushed.
We pushed.
Okay, my bad.
Today.
No
My bad. But I see here, man, you played on a lot of different teams, bro. And I got you on here as the fake brother of Josh Allen. So I got a real question. So I done looked you up. I did all the research. And for a long time, you guys actually played on this that you guys were brothers. Like, where did this come from? Like, was this when y'all were hanging out back in training? Like, what happened?
You're not related one bit, right?
What'd you say?
You're not related one bit.
Not at all.
I mean, we'll see. I don't know, but
I love it. He's still leaning into it.
No, we all lived together for the draft. Me, him, and Sam, and then my first 2 years in the off season, we would rent houses in Orange County together in the off season because none of us had like a permanent spot yet. So we would just live together and train and hang out, and then we've just all become like really close friends over the years. And then we're always doing golf trips. We're always going on vacations together, hanging out, and then we ended up playing on the same team last year. And I think people would just see 2 pale white dudes out there and with the name Allen, and they're like, they got to be brothers, So
Brothers.
Yeah.
play along. He might as well be my brother, though.
Yeah.
I got a confession. I learned about 45 minutes before this podcast that you're not his brother.
We thought so for the longest.
So we're doing a good job.
Dude,
Yeah.
I
had to call a friend.
I looked up like videos, and I was doing research on it. We were doing it back there. We were like fighting with each other. Like, no, that's his brother. Like, no,
it was a real argument. It was a real argument.
And someone asked me, is he Josh Allen's brother? I'm like, I don't know. They're related? I'm like, I actually don't know.
There you go.
But Christian,
do you realize how big of a
like,
mystery it is? Like,
it's a
in the
real
world?
mystery.
I don't think many people think about it.
No, because you're terrible.
definitely do.
You're terrible. You're the one who plays on it. Because he even mentioned his other brother's name. He was like, yeah, me, Jason, and him all just grew up together. I'm like, but there's no fucking way that you're actually brothers. Like,
Yeah, me, Jason, and Josh, the homies.
That'd actually be wild if you guys were brothers. And
That'd
up
be
on the
crazy.
same team in Buffalo.
The Bills have articles about
Yeah.
that being the case. And that was what was messing with us. And we're like,
There's articles.
Yeah,
like by the Buffalo Bills,
There's
bro.
actual articles
We might be.
that say those two are brothers. So I'm like, the Bills must be fucking with us at this point.
Or they're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't with this guy. I don't know. I can't tell if he's telling the truth or not.
Really good at poker, I'm sure.
He's
He's a great poker face.
Decent.
he's not telling the truth. They're not related.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
They're
Thank you for clearing that up.
they're distant.
Show me your research.
Read the paper in front of you. Not brothers.
It literally says fake brother.
That's what it says right there. It says-
Good research with the telestrator over there. Yeah.
you should see my notes on my phone.
What's some of those notes out right now? What do we got?
Can you just read all
I
the notes?
have been.
I'm
No,
extremely curious.
No. I just have a whole little timeline. I mean, we talk.
Definitely brothers. Make sure you ask.
Here's my notes. Here's where they pick back up.
Do you have notes in there that say "Remember to breathe"?
Yeah. Remember to smile. That's what it says. Talk clearly. Don't
Make
mumble.
sure you sit up straight.
Don't mumble. Oh man.
These dead ass your notes. I feel like they are. Right?
Sometimes I put little reminders in there. Like I'll be reading Kyle Allen 2019. It says, "Crazy effing year, 5-0, 9 TDs, 0 picks." That's in my notes.
That's a good note right there.
2019, 9 TDs, 0 picks, 5-0 start.
Don't read what happened after that. We
Didn't you
went
get
downhill
hurt
after that.
though?
No.
What
We
happened?
just started to not play well.
No.
We had a good start that year, and then I started throwing a bunch of picks, honestly, and our defense started to struggle, but we had a good start that year, man.
Were they like warranted picks? Were you like
They were at first, and then I started getting a little frisky out there. You know, there's a couple where, man, I had one game, so it was like off to a hot start, and it was like that offense was, we had good players. It was DJ Moore, it was McCaffrey, it was Greg Olson, Curtis Samuel was at Z playing well,
You
and
guys were good.
we were good, and then I remember we went 4-0 to start the year. Well, first two games we lost. Cam got hurt, and then we went 4-0, and then we went and played San Francisco. In San Francisco, the year they went to the Super Bowl, and they were 6-0 at that time. And it was like the first big game, and it was Nick Bosa. I think it was his rookie year or second year, and he was going crazy. And it was Richard Sherman, and it was Fred Warner, and and it was when they had like all their first round picks at D-line, and I remember fucking Nick Bosa picked me off that game, dude. It was just like, it was one of the, I was playing clean, like we were having like a lot of success, and then bam, I threw like 3 picks that game, and they beat us like 56-20, and it was like the game of the week because we were like 2 of the best teams in the league at that time.
Hot, yeah.
And I was like, this is actual football here. I was like, this wasn't too hard to start. I was like, oh, this is how it really is. Yeah.
So out of the quarterbacks that you all you played with, because you got a lot of guys that you played with, from Alex Smith to Cam Newton, who was one of the guys that you looked up to most? Like, who actually helped you? Was it Alex Smith, Cam Newton, or somebody else that you're currently working with?
Cam was really cool because Cam was like, he made the game fun.
Yeah.
Like he always had fun, and I was like, coming from college when I was at Houston, like Houston was like rough. I didn't play well. There was a lot of turnover in the coaching. It wasn't fun. It was like very like old Urban Meyer, like hard nose. Like we were just getting our we were getting our face beaten in like every day. It was just like miserable. And then come to league, I didn't know if I was going to play or whatever, to make a team. And then Cam's in there, and Cam was just like a good ass dude, and like, treated me like a rookie, like he would, but like he was fun. And so I had a ton of fun with him. And then you go play with Alex Smith in Washington, who was like the ultimate teammate, best dude ever. Like this is after his leg, so like his legs all,
that was after he.
Yeah, his legs all like he's still coming off of that. It was his first year that he was back active because he was unable to play for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So he was like just coming back, and he was just so like smart, like such a good teammate, like cared a lot. He helped me a ton, like. He'd sit behind plays, like talking me through everything, like film every day in the mornings. We'd watch film together before team meetings, and like I learned a ton of football from him. Like he was like with him, having him in Kansas City his first year, or that year that he played and Pat got to sit underneath him. Like another example, like Pat got to
Yeah.
sit, and got to play behind Alex Smith, and he talks about it a lot. Like Alex is just like one of like the most underrated dudes in the league.
Does that happen a lot with like veteran quarterbacks wanting to help a younger guy that was drafted or a younger guy that they know is going to be like the next guy?
Just depends where you're at, man.
Or some guys like kind of like assholes, like yeah.
It
him
just
figure it
depends,
out.
man. It's like depends on the situation. I think like Alex is just like a extremely mature, like humble dude, and so I think you could see the writing on the wall that like
Yeah.
Pat was next. And he played great that year in Kansas City. He had like 3 or 4 great years in Kansas City.
Yeah, they were good.
But he just understands the overall like landscape of football and the
business of it.
situation. Yeah, and so just depends. I think you hear stories from both sides. Like I can't pinpoint certain guys or whatever it is, but I just know Alex was always a great dude.
Did you know you were getting traded? Like, have any indication you were getting traded to Washington?
No, dude.
Was that like a shell shock?
Dude, I mean, Rivera gets fired in the middle of our year. So that was like the same year we went 4-0 to start the year. We started going on a little slide. They had new ownership there, and so the owner obviously wanted to put his stamp on it at some point, and he was seemed like he was waiting for a time to, make a change. So Rivera gets fired 4 games left in the season. Hire new coaches, I'm on my rookie deal, so I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to come back. And then I get a call, like, how you get random number calls, you just never answer them. Like, I never answer them. Like, if it's important, like, you leave me a voicemail or send me a text or something. For some reason, I was like, I feel like I should answer this call. And this was off season in like March. I was just hanging out. And it was the GM from Carolina. I've talked to him maybe like once. He was like, hey, it's Marty Herney. We're going to trade you to Washington. Thanks for playing here.
That was
And I was like, huh?
That was
what?
it?
Yeah. And I was like, okay. And he was like, and then hung up. And I was like, is
that's
that
crazy.
real? And I remember because it was me and Josh were actually coming home from training that day. And he was like, I was sitting in the passenger seat and he was like, yo, you good? I was just sitting in the passenger seat like, huh? And I was like, I think I just got traded. It's like, I don't really know. And then my agent called me. He was like, hey, did you get a call? And I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, you're getting traded.
So was Rivera there going to Washington there?
Yeah, he was already hired in Washington. So they traded for me.
So
that's
he
huge.
wanted Rivera's your guy.
Yeah, Rivera was always awesome to me. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
What was the quarterback? Because they had Alex Smith, but he was coming off injury.
They had Alex and they had Dwayne Haskins.
Oh, what, RIP.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne came here after Washington.
Yep.
Great dude.
That was a crazy scenario. Man.
Crazy.
So, what's the most? And I want to ask you both this, and you don't got to say any names, but like, as anybody who can tell who has watched the show, like football's a business. Like once you get past high school, like it becomes more like a business than anything. So, what's the most messed up thing that you've seen, or that was the most funniest thing that you've seen from this side of the sport? You don't got to say any names. We ain't trying to
No,
criminalize.
I'm just
He's
trying
got
to
some
think.
stories.
Well, you see it all around too. It's just, I don't know, man. There's just so many scenarios. I can't there's not one story that's coming to my mind, but
I'm sure you've seen guys get active for 2 games and then teams won't bring them up for the third to give them their credited season. Where they're just-
that happens. Well, especially with the new rule,
That happens
how
all
you
the
can
time.
just
Yeah.
So
that happens a
explain
lot.
the rule.
That's a New England thing too. Like
That's, like,
all like the
devastating.
New England lineage guys, they'll like practice squad. You can get elevated
Right.
for 2 games. That actually happened to me my rookie year. It wasn't on purpose, but
Just
the
happened.
year I played 2 games. Well, I got activated because Cam got hurt, right? And there's 2 games left in the year, and I ended up playing in both the games, and I didn't get an accredited season because I only played 2 games.
See that?
But I played in both of them. It's not like I was
sucks.
just sitting on the sideline, but
And that works towards your pension, correct? Like you need that credited season for you to
yeah,
get.
and I think you can lobby for it after, and sometimes they'll give it to you. But
Mine got denied. I lobbied for my practice squad. I had to. I lobbied for my practice.
You should have
squad.
waited
There
a
were
little
some
longer,
Jacksonville
man.
and Steelers combined, and they were like, "Absolutely not, dude." Okay.
come on, guys.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like throw me a bone. Like give me an extra year. It's like I was still working, doing my thing.
Damn.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of situations. I think a crazy one was when I was in Washington. We went to play Carolina, and Carolina brought Cam back that year. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I was
And it was kind of like, whoa, we're bringing Cam back, right? Like it was just kind of like a random thing, but I think it was somewhat of a business move too, because in Carolina you can see it now. Like no one goes to those games anymore because they've been struggling for a while. But when we played in Carolina that year, when Cam came back, that stadium was packed to the brim. And it was like Cam came out of the tunnel, he was announced last.
Crazy.
He came out of the tunnel, he went to the 50, on the 50, and that's the loudest I have ever seen that stadium.
That's crazy.
Like, wow. But he built Carolina,
Yeah.
No doubt, dude.
Luke Kuechly, too.
Yeah, for sure. Like that whole crew, but then like Cam Newton, the quarterback. Yeah, like that whole regime built it. And then when he came back with the new coaching staff and the ownership, and it was just like, we gave him a jolt of energy. But I mean, like, there's tons of like behind the scenes, like shady stuff. And I think the whole thing, when you look at it from like a front office and coaching perspective, and like everyone's trying to like cover their own ass at some point,
Right.
Yeah.
You're trying to buy yourself more years, or you're trying to, at some point, like the best guys, they have the best interests at heart of everyone and the players. And there's certainly a bunch of coaches like that. And I think there is a lot of people around the league who are at some point are like, all right, if I do this move, maybe this buys me another year, or maybe this makes me look better. Like there's definitely like some cover your ass in this.
It's a business. At the end of the day,
it is what it is.
They want the best for the business.
Yeah, the sooner you realize that, the more success you'll have too.
Yeah.
Damn. So you gotta almost take your emotions from the game. It seems like it
does
anyway.
that kind of kill it?
Like, that
the
seems like it
emotion for
kills.
the game at all?
No.
We still.
Because when you get
This
out
isn't
there,
a sad podcast. This is a happy one.
It doesn't take it from it. You're still playing.
Hey,
We're
I
still-
just was asking the question. You guys went there. I just was watching this conversation. I just asked the
At the end of the
follow-up
day, if
question.
you go out on the field and you play well, like you earn yourself whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like
You're gonna be
you
there.
put yourself in your own position. You control what you can control.
But you're a fucking an NFL linebacker, not linebacker. Sorry, you're not an NFL linebacker anymore. Sorry,
that stinks.
NFL long snapper. Apologize. And an NFL quarterback. Just to say that you guys are doing that, bro. Like it's one in a million.
Man, we did that, bro.
You know what I mean? You're fucking doing it. You're fucking doing it, bro. Because we're sitting on couch talking shit. That's what we're doing. You feel
A
me?
lot of people are, dude. That's the crazy part. Is like I think I'd be all right like dealing with it, but then like getting like chirped by these people that have never played past high school.
Yeah, you got me chopped. You got me chopped. I don't listen. I'm nowhere near neither one of you. You guys are in the NFL, but I am the funniest couch warrior you'll ever see in your entire life.
I like a good chirping.
Yeah, bro, I enjoy
Trey's
it.
the anti-chirp though.
But I
Trey's
like-
chirping the chirpers.
But see, me, I'm gonna ask you a football question. Okay, start at 9, cover 4. Okay,
Starting 9.
3rd and 9.
Oh, 3rd and 9. I got you.
I thought you said starting 9 too.
Yeah.
3rd and 9. 3rd and 9.
You should
hear
have
me clearly.
Christian's
Yeah.
notes
3rd and
to
9.
say
3rd and
The
9.
3rd and 9.
situation's
We
third and
got
nine.
40 seconds left.
Okay,
Let's go,
here we
man.
go.
Come on.
Situation started 9.
Come
It's
on.
cover 4. What's your go-to concept? To your left. Left
my
to right.
Left. Cover 4. Well, you're running some type of post.
Some kind of dig, some kind of post.
No,
some
you're not
kind
running
of-
dig versus quarters. You don't want dig versus quarters. You're going
Fucking
post.
defensive player.
You're going post. You're going post with a sail.
Come on, you said you got 40 seconds. Let's go.
You didn't call the play in time, coach. I had to call a damn timeout because you're going through your play sheet over here,
Got
man.
Patrick
Talk to me,
Mahomes
talk to me,
over
talk to
here.
me.
Yeah, you're going post with a curl. You got someone in the flat, and then you got someone running a juke route over the ball on the mic. Backside, you got a nice little post curl. You're reading it straight across. Back's going psh, psh, ducking out to the right. You're not seeing quarters on 3rd down, though, most of the time.
Just gonna
3rd and 9, maybe.
Quarterbacks
Good
kill quarters, don't they?
No, a lot of teams play quarters now.
Really? Why?
There's a lot more like rules involved with quarters nowadays where there's adjustments on defense, and like the Jets and 49ers, like 49ers.
Well, they got Fred Warner. I mean,
Well, like the teams that do it well are like, you see these teams, they've built their teams up around the D line. Like that was Saleh when he was in San Francisco, and then he brought that over to the Jets, and they build it up so where you don't need to blitz a bunch of people. You're rushing with 4, and then you're playing quarters, and you're kind of just putting like an umbrella on the defense, and there's a lot of rules, like in and out rules, where certain concepts. So they're reading concepts a lot more than most teams, and it's safer. And so quarters is like really showing up a lot in the game now, more than it has in a long time.
See, I'm a
For a
more
deep
I'm
dive
more,
lesson.
I'm more of a. When I get an NCAA, I'm more of a man-to-man. Blitz, man, make these quarterbacks beat you.
Yeah, I bet you get shredded on the outside.
Sometimes
Go routes be killing you.
Go-
There are
nah.
some teams that do that though too. It's just like it's interesting when you play long enough. You play like the same coordinator multiple times, and all these coordinators on offensive and defensive side, they have like deep rooted philosophies on how they see the game and why they do it. And you play teams like we played Detroit in the preseason, and like they're gonna run man on 3rd down. Like I don't care what it is. Like
Yeah.
Dallas was like that a lot. in the past with Dan Quinn, where they're just like,
Man.
well, we got guys, like we're gonna run man and we're gonna let Micah Parsons go eat and like beat us on the outside, you know. But that's like a philosophy, like, and they've spent time repping that. And then you play teams like, you know, the Jets, who are gonna run quarters every snap, and then they might throw some man in on third down. But
do quarterbacks like seeing a certain coverage?
I think some guy, it really depends on personnel. Like if you're a man, like if you're Minnesota and you're seeing man on third down, like you're psyched. Like they're going to have to double Jefferson, which means like Addison's going to be one-on-one inside. Naylor's going to be one-on-one inside. Aaron Jones going to be like, it just depends who you're playing, you know, or who you have on your team. But yeah, it's some guys get used to things over time. You see some things better than others. What defenses do really good nowadays, and if we're going too deep on football, let me know.
No, I love this. I'm excited.
Defenses care a lot more nowadays about disguising rather than getting their guys in the right spots. So it's like what Minnesota's doing right now with putting everyone on the line of scrimmage with Flores, and then you're either blitzing a bunch of people or you're running your safety out from the line of scrimmage to the middle of the field. You know, you're just trying to get that quarterback when he snaps the ball on his first step to be unsure, you know, like what's happening, like what coverage am I actually seeing? And so you see like guys out of position more nowadays, but it's tougher to decipher at the snap. And then you get into like the Vic Fangios and like when we played Denver and similar defenses like that, where everything looks exactly the same pre-snap. They're playing it all out of the same shell, and then they can, you know,
move.
Oh, let me rotate this guy a little bit and blitz this guy. Oh, we're actually going to come this way this time. Oh, now we're going to drop the corners out and play two. Like everything looks the same, and then when the ball snapped, you got to figure it out. So pre-snap stuff is harder nowadays than it was early in my career.
Who's the best D coordinator that you see right now in the league that does really well with?
Yeah, who do you hate playing against? If you're starting.
I mean, you see what Flores is doing now. I haven't watched a ton of tape on their defense, but it seems like he's given lots of people fits.
Coach Flo, he was in Pittsburgh. Yeah. He's good.
Yeah, it's just, and he's just got like a Rolodex stuff he can do. I remember we played in Kansas City over the last couple of years too with Spags. Like Spags is the same way on third down. You know, you have your different personnels. You can go nickel, you can go dime, take a linebacker out, put a DB in the game. You can go dime 32, where you take a D lineman out and then put a backer in the game, put another DB. Like there's just so many different personnels you can get on third down, and which each personnel comes a different front structure, different blitzes, different coverages you run out of it. So I remember when we were playing them last year, like, you know, we get like a little tip sheet for third down, and it's like, all right, here's their 5 different personnels they can get into.
Right.
Here's what they like to blitz out of. Here's what they coverage out of. But then you're getting up to you're like 5 different ones. You're like, all right. And you get up the line of scrimmage on third down with 20 seconds left in Kansas City, and you're like, all right, which one is this? Like,
yeah, you're like, what
and
the
it's tough, man. It's tough. So Kansas City was always like, their offense gets a lot of hype, but their defense really over the last couple of years has played exceptional.
Their defense has been legit.
They've been so good.
We played there two of the last 3 years, and they beat the brakes off us.
Yeah.
So what makes our defense so different then? Because I think our defense is stellar.
TJ
Kyle could probably, I mean, we have TJ. Our defense is, you know, we have some studs everywhere. I don't really know. Kyle would probably know better than I would on this. Like, what makes our defense so special? I just, you know, the pass rushing aspect of our defense. Like, we get to the passer, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to give up scheme stuff on here, but yeah, if you can get our defense a lead, and you can make teams have to be one-dimensional and have to drop back. Like teams when they come in and play our defense, like last thing you want to do is drop back and not have chip help on TJ or Alex or Herb or you know got Cam inside taking up two. Like if you can stay on schedule against our defense, you got a chance. But the second you get behind, get behind the chains or you get down, and yet like we saw it against the Chargers. Like late in the game, they were down 10. They had to just drop back and pass. Like
you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to be able to run the ball. I feel like a lot of teams come out and they try to run on us immediately. They know if they get behind and they got to revert to only passing the ball, negative shit's going to happen in a good way for us.
Good for us.
But yeah.
How you feeling? Guys, couple games into the season. How you feeling?
Feel good.
I feel good. I mean,
it's early in the year, man.
if you said we were going to start 3-1 through the first quarter of the season, obviously we want to go 4-0, but 3-1 is pretty damn good, especially 2 road wins out of that. I feel like everyone's feeling good. Yeah, it sucks. I feel like we gave that game away to the Colts more so than they beat us, but it's NFL football, dude. Anyone,
any given Sunday.
It doesn't matter who's rolled out there. Every guy in that locker room's a damn good player that could beat you. Like, it literally doesn't matter.
I know you don't live off of these when it comes to win or losses, but some of these calls have been crazy, bro. The Minka hit on the sideline, and then even the roughing the passer call that I think it was early in the game, right?
That they called on Justin that we got.
The one that we got the roughing the passer call, right?
Yes.
Or no, yeah, the one that we got the first down off of.
Yeah,
on Justin. Yeah, that was crazy.
These calls are happening they're happening in every game, and it's affecting games. And it's not so much like, oh, we got screwed here, because every team's getting screwed some way or another. It's like we just can't do that shit. The game,
it is what it is.
Yeah, the game changed. They're gonna call it. What are we gonna do? We can't bitch about it. And we should have won the game because they called Minka for that hit. It's like we didn't lose the game because of that. And obviously, it affected it, but we didn't lose because of that. We fumbled on the 10, fumbled on the 50. We just had some plays that shouldn't have happened.
So other than the kickoff, because I know there's new rules every year. There's new rules to the game. There's new rules of how defense can play their defenses. There's new rules to how offenses can play their offenses. So, what's a new rule right now that you guys are dealing with other than the kickoff? Is there anything crazy that's going on right now that people should know about?
Not really on the offensive side that I know of. I mean, they're calling illegal man downfield, linemen a lot. They're calling that heavy.
They are calling
the screen game it's been interesting. You see a lot of teams in the screen game, if you're not on time throwing screens, if a guy's in your way and you got to throw it around a guy,
they're calling illegal man.
Calling illegal man downfield, and all the the trigger word or the buzzword RPO stuff is if your linemen are getting up to the second level too quick, you can tell there's an emphasis from the league on calling that this year.
They don't want those RPOs hitting with people on the backers already, and they're hitting it.
Yeah, it's I don't know, but it's been around for a while. It's interesting. You could tell they made an emphasis this offseason of let's start calling that. You see it all around the league.
Have you seen the hip drop tackle called yet?
Not once.
I've seen a hip drop tackle, no joke, probably
every week.
I've probably seen it 5 or 6 times in these last 4 games. We haven't seen a call. I haven't seen it called yet. People running, grabbing, and putting.
That happened to your man, Mark, ain't it?
Mark last year. Yeah.
It's a scary tackle.
It's happened a lot, man. Happened to Sam Darnold in preseason a couple years ago. Happened to Justin in the Chargers game, and he got his feet out from underneath, thankfully. Yeah. But it was literally
hip drop.
Yeah.
Dove and just pulled him down with his full body weight.
A lot of DNs do that too.
Call.
It's really dangerous.
That is dangerous, bad. I'm a knee guy.
What about knees? Do you you got a knee
fetish?
I've
had, I'm a knee guy. I am a knee guy, bro. I can't watch football if I see something. You feel me? I get this weird way, bro. I turn the TV off.
Don't keep going.
You feel me?
I ain't give you a second off over here.
I ain't scared now. I ain't scared. All I'm saying is it makes me nervous because I hate seeing quarterbacks not paying attention to their backside. And then you see a hip drop tackle or something like that.
It happens.
I've had 3 knee surgeries. That just makes me uncomfortable.
It happens, too.
I've had 0 knee surgeries. It makes me uncomfortable. Ugh. That shit ain't fun to watch.
The knee. My wife's dealing with it now. She had knee surgery. And it's not good.
What'd she have?
Dude, her knees were messed up from college soccer. She had her ACL torn already, so she went in and they put a bone graft in her ACL, took out some arthritis, fixed her medial and lateral meniscus.
Got it.
Yeah, she got a pretty. Yeah,
what a warrior, man!
It's a tough word to say.
Meniscus. Meniscus. 3 times fast.
Augusta.
Meniscus. Augusta.
Yeah.
You finished in Washington, went to Houston for a year, and then to Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get your opinion and talk about now that you're with Coach Tomlin, you're with Sean McDermott, Ron Rivera, all the coaches you've been with. Who was in Texans?
Lovie Smith.
Okay, Lovie. What's the difference in Tomlin? What do you like in Coach Tomlin as a coach? And being a quarterback, you have a little different perspective on things because everything runs through the QB room. Like the team.
Yeah, you got an interesting perspective to like one of the most interesting QB rooms in football right now.
Right now.
So like, what does Tomlin do that you're like you love and you're like okay?
Yeah, I think every good head coach.
The QB room. We'll get into the QB.
All right,
room.
sorry, I didn't know your notes.
Right.
I didn't read your notes over there. You only got to the first one.
Yeah.
I think what every really good head coach I've been around is they play to their personality, right? They're truly themselves and they lead in an authentic way to themselves. You know, Rivera was that way. Levy was that way, even though we didn't have a good year. Sean's for sure that way, you know. And I think Mike is above and all that way, you know, like 100% himself. And what's been really cool for me this year is he, as a head coach, he has been more involved than I've ever seen in like the actual like ins and outs schematically of the game. Like we meet with him Wednesdays and Thursdays early in the morning as quarterbacks, and Pat and Najee are in there too. And he gives us an entire breakdown on the opposing team's defense.
Another head coach, like
and he knows all these guys personally. So he's like, yeah, this guy, like the D coordinator, either last week or a couple weeks, I forgot who it was, but he was like, yeah, I coached with his dad. Like this guy was like my water boy back in the, you know, it's like he's like I've known him since he was like 11 or like just crazy stuff like that. And so he just knows on such a deep level like who these guys are, and then you get it from a defensive coach's perspective too. You talk to a lot of coaches on the offensive defensive side of the ball. Like if you're an offensive guy, like the best thing you can do is go spend like a year or two earlier in your career on the defensive side of the ball and like learn installs from a defensive perspective. Learn like what
they're trying to do.
Yeah, like what are you trying to do versus this offense? Like when you're getting this formation or this, you know, play action, like what hurts you? Like what are you trying to do? What are the rules? And so from a defensive perspective, like you just get a little bit of a different outlook on how to look at the defense. And it's more of like personality. It's like, why is he calling this call on defense? Like, why is he running this coverage? Like, why does he have this type of personality on third down? Like, and then you start to understand like the flow of the game. Like, you understand why he's calling certain things early in the game, and why he holds calls till late in the game, or why he's this way on first and second down, but he's this way on third down. And so it's like the deep intricacies of the game, and he's just like on another level smart in that and understands it, and he communicates it really well.
That's why like we talked about other guys that were on here. I feel like everyone said how big of a football junkie Coach Tomlin is. Like we're not even exaggerating. Like that dude knows every single person in there on a personal level. He knows what they're running. He knows why they're running it. Like, he's crazy.
Yeah,
he knows
awesome.
stats from, like, 1978. He'll just pull out some random stat about a random game and be like, this guy threw for 3 touchdowns because this guy was a defense coordinator. I'm like...
You're like, okay.
That's nuts. I'm not going to lie. That's nuts.
Shit, dude. I wasn't even alive.
Yeah. Literally. Yeah.
But that is cool to hear, though, because I feel like every guy that we get in here talks a little bit about Coach Tomlin, and they came from different places. Like, everyone says similar things. Like, he's so in depth and in detail with, like, his preparation, his film study, and, like, how he portrays his message to us and, like, what he wants us to do. So it's cool to hear that.
Yeah, he's 101.
So my last question to you is, like, what are you passionate about outside of football?
Golf. I love golf, man. Very passionate about golf, actually, though. No, I just, like... I love the game. I love playing. Like, I've got to go a lot of really cool places over the years. I think golf is just like the main connection point with a lot of people in sports too, and in business, and like, you know, everyone's like, oh, you know, make deals on the golf course, like blah blah. But like, I've met a ton of like really cool, awesome people through golf and through trips and going on stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, like. I got a couple buddies who we do a lot of trips together. It's me and it's Josh, it's Sam Darnold and Christian Kirk. We call ourselves a traveling golf gang because we just go on golf trips together all across the country. And
who's the best there out of that group?
Josh is up there right now. I had Josh for a long time, but he's currently better than me.
Wow.
Christian Kirk only started playing a couple years ago, and he's gotten progressively a lot better. I'd say me and Christian are pretty similar. Josh is like a 3 right now. Sam's getting there too. Sam's probably like a 8 or a 9 right now. But it's like it's just our version of like, you know, what are you gonna do in the off season to have fun? What are you gonna do? Like, we just love going on golf trips. Like this year, I played, I want to say like 6 or 7 of the top 25 courses in America.
Wow.
And it's like, you know, meet a ton of cool people doing it. Like I got to play Cypress Point with Keith Mitchell and
That's sweet.
oh God, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name right now, but that's tough. Sorry. He's another PGA guy, but
it's all right.
But yeah, and then we get to play Pebble Beach. You know, I got to play Augusta this summer. I got to go to New Jersey and play Pine Valley too, with a bunch of guys. Like,
this dude's basically on the tour.
Well, that's it.
I might as well be. You know, I'm caddying for Keith Mitchell next season.
Really?
Yeah. He's gonna let me caddy a tournament next year, but
that'll be pretty stressful.
No, I'm dialed in, dude.
You think?
No, I caddied for Josh when he played in the AT&T program or the AT&T tournament in Pebble a couple years ago. You know, they do like the celebrity and the pros there. And I just remember I was so nervous to rake the fucking bunkers, dude, because I was like, and Josh was in some bunkers that day, man. But it was like you're raking the bunkers, and the pros are in a real ass tournament, like right next to you, like they're playing for like an $18 million purse, like. And so Josh over here just splashing it out of the bunker, and I'm just walking around like, you know, making a mess in there for like freaking Xander Schauffele to come up behind me and like maybe hit one in this bunker. I'm like, oh, I gotta rake this thing fucking perfect, dude. You know. No, I remember I was just shitting my pants the whole day, like hoping I didn't rake a bunker wrong.
What happens if you do rake a bunker like wrong?
Well, if they hit it and like, you gotta play it. That's why sometimes you see like people do like a shitty rake job, like it's like a big deal.
That's what happened to me today when
all right, let's go on.
When I triple bogey 6, I was in that trap and it wasn't raked right.
That's why.
Hey, nice and easy.
Let's take 2 strokes off my
nice
score.
And
I shot an
easy.
89 today.
91.
The sand wasn't raked the right way. That's what we're gonna go with.
No, I love golf, man. I don't know. I want to do something in golf when I'm done with football. I don't know what it is, but and it's growing like crazy right now.
What's the one golf thing? Live Golf? Is that what it's
Live
called?
golf.
Yeah.
I like that. That's pretty fun, it seems.
Yeah.
What do you like about Live Golf?
I just like how it's
Money.
action-packed. Like,
He likes the money involved.
He likes
that
the
too.
money, yeah.
That too. I ain't gonna lie. There is a lot of money in it. Like,
Everybody does. Everybody likes to live money.
Who doesn't, man?
So can you give like a little insight of the role, like the vital role, I believe, for backup quarterbacks to the game? Like when you're giving like a read that you're seeing that the quarterback playing is not seeing. I think a lot of, you know, couch coaches or whatever you want to call them, they don't see like, they see that you're, you know, getting X amount of money for sitting on the bench, quote unquote. Like, can you explain the preparation and like the vital role of like that secondary eyes? Because you're kind of like this player coach that, you know, you're able to give a read to the quarterback and you're, you know, watching from the sidelines. So like, can you give that insight? Because I don't think people see that, and I think it's overlooked immensely. So speak on that.
Yeah, I think when people think about, like, so many people come up to me and be like, dude, you got the easiest job in sports, dude. Meanwhile, I'm shitting my pants on the sideline every weekend, like watching Justin get filleted by a D-end, you know? I'm like, that, like, the one underrated thing, like, stress-wise about that is, like, especially, like, Justin's tough now. Like, Justin's going to take licks and get up, and he's tough. I learned that about him. He's tough.
Holy shit.
But you get some guys who, like, it's easy to get hurt out there, you know? Like, and my whole thing is, like, I'm just like, whenever we call like a deep drop back pass or like a quarterback run, I'm like, oh God, you see me doing high knees on the sideline, like, okay, so I gotta get in. Like, that's always like game day. Like, that's my stress is like, all right, I gotta be ready to go, and I don't know when it is. And that's for a ton of guys out there, like backup O linemen, you know, like same deal. But just from like that perspective, I think you got to know the guy that's playing. Like with Josh last year, like we already had like such a great relationship, and he was really open to hearing things during the game, or like we have a lot of conversations about what we're seeing. Like, you know, you're talking about this, like whatever in game. And then some guys are just, you know, they're calm. You got to understand what they need in that moment. Like, you don't want to fill their head with a bunch of like, you know, different ideas and different thoughts, because when they're out there pre-snap, like it's running through their mind. Like, you got to know your guy. But I think the older I get in the league, you know, I'm just trying to figure out what ways can I add value. Like, how can I add value to this room throughout the week? You know, what can I do from like, you know, film study wise with like, you know, I saw this in this protection, or, you know, this here. You're just trying to give like tangible things for the guy that's playing to make the game simpler for him, to be able to, for him to play faster. the offense to have success. And at the end of the day, when I think about quarterback play, is like how can I simplify by the time we get to Sunday, how can I simplify my thoughts as much as possible so when the ball is snapped, I can play fast.
Right.
Yeah. And so it's like, all right, what can I do during the week so we can iron out issues? Like if you're anxious about some look or, this play, like how can we change it, make it better? How can we cut it out? How can we add something you want? Like it's all about getting the guy that's playing like as comfortable as possible on Sunday. And that comes with scheme stuff, and then it also comes, you got to like calm your guy down, shoot the shit with them, have fun, like, keep it a calm environment, and just like build the guy up too. Like it's the hardest position to play in sports. Like it's hard enough already. We don't need to add more stuff to him. Like anyone who's out there playing on Sunday, like no matter how you play, like kudos to you. Like you're out there playing it. Like so, just like I really just try and add value as much as I can in whatever area it is. And it's different with each guy, I
feel like the people that say, the fans that are like, you have the best job ever. You're on the sideline. Like, you don't have to play. Like, he is the best job, but the absolute worst job. If this dude's got to go in, he fucking doesn't take any reps. You don't take any reps, then you ask him to go in and play a game.
Yeah, that's anxiety.
It's like you're taking mental reps, but you're not
you're not getting practice reps with the, the scheme for the week. Like, I'm out there on the scout team, just trying to fit balls into windows.
You're running a different offense, and then you got to come in the game and run our offense to win a game. And then people want to bash you and say bad shit about you.
Yeah, that's why, like, Flacco last week was, like, so impressive, dude. Like, I was watching him throw pregame, too. Flacco's one of the most, like, prettiest, like, throwing motions. Like, I sat on the bench, when you're out there, like, 3 hours before the game. Well, you get there, like, 4.5 hours and just, like, kick your feet around on the field. But
I hang out at the
well, yeah, no, I was just sitting on the bench watching him go through his, like, pregame warm-up routine, and he's just, like, all over the field.
He was impressive.
It's unbelievable.
He's a good backup to have.
Bro, he's a great
he's elite.
He's a good backup.
Joe Flacco's elite,
Super
man.
winning quarterback. Like, just to see him catch the ball as a backup, like we were talking, just catch the ball and just immediately know what defense we were in and hit it in the hole.
And it doesn't matter who you are. Like, Flacco's played a ton in his career, but he's a backup right now.
Yeah.
He's not. It's a new team for him too. New offense. Not getting reps during the week, I'm sure. Like,
what year is this for him?
17.
He's been there for a minute.
15. He's been around for a long time.
Forever.
What's one of your craziest stat lines? Because I want you people to know that, like, even the last man on the roster is the best player that any of these people have ever seen in their lives. So just give us, like, I don't care if it's a high school stat line, college, like.
Shit, I can give you one right now. I'm looking at it.
What's a crazy stat line?
I mean, I was really proud of my second year in the league when I had to go. Cam got hurt. And we played in Arizona week 3. I grew up in Scottsdale, Arizona, and it was like hometown game. I had a bunch of people there. And I was like, the year before was my first start, but it was really kind of like I was just like, get me through this game. Like, I hope I play well. And then this year I was the backup. And then Cam got hurt, and I was like, all right, like, this is my job. And we went to Arizona, and I threw for 4 touchdowns and a bunch of yards. And like,
How
that
many
was
yards? 293?
Nah, it was like 260, 270 or something. But we got after him, and that was like, that wasn't like I belong. Like, it was like I belong here moment.
Yeah.
It was like, like I can do this, and like so that was for a stat line perspective. That one was really like, that was awesome. But I'm sure in high school I probably threw 7 touchdowns to Mark Andrews in one game or something stupid like that. Yeah.
Jesse, what do you got against these people on the couch, dude?
He hates the couch fans.
I love you, Jesse.
Bro, I'm sort of a couch fan myself when I'm watching.
Yeah, but you know ball, man. You know it.
I have one final question before we wrap this up. If I drop back and I attempted 50 passes in an NFL game as a quarterback.
6 completions.
6 completions. Are you serious? Like, even if I have GP, bro, if I have GP and I'm seeing single coverage, I'm just throwing it. Like,
he's not getting single coverage.
But if I had 50 throws,
he's not getting
all right,
single
well, then
coverage.
I'm throwing it to the other single side, whoever it is. They're going to come down with at least 5 out of.
Yeah, but you forget
50.
that you have to throw the ball.
Buddy.
That's what I'm saying. You're not on all fours throwing it through your legs either, man. You're throwing it upright.
So 6 out of 50?
Yeah.
Speaking of Cam Newton, you look like Cam Newton kid that goes, I'm coming for your job.
That's what I do.
That was the meme they were throwing around when I started playing. They were like, "This was Kyle when he was young." Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, Kyle, I appreciate you coming in today on the off day. This wraps up season 1, episode 12.
Dang, it took me
12
12 episodes to get
Wow.
on. It's crazy.
12 episodes to get a quarterback.
What a podcast, man. What a group. The rare civilian.
You love it. You love the rare
The
civilian.
rare civilian.
Because I
man.
am. I am rare.
Yeah. In
I'm that guy.
right now.
more ways than one, man.
Yeah.
We need to put you on some type of watch list of rare civilian.
All right. Like, share, subscribe, smash the subscribe button. Listen, leave a comment. Smash this.
Yeah, you good. Keep
Yeah,
going.
it's good. That was
Send
it.
it- send in
That
some
was
pictures.
it. That's a wrap.
Send some knee pictures to him.
Yeah.
Need him.
Yeah.
Need him.
Drop your
pictures.
All the
knee
knee pics,
knee
dude.
pictures to Trey. Slide
Need him.
slide his
Need him.
DMs.
Slide the knee pictures in his DMs.
We'll catch you next.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go.